Florida's Nadine Smith and the 8 LGBTQ plus trailblazers making Time magazine's 100 most influential people. Today, Time magazine released their list of the 100 most influential people of 2022, including at least 8 LGBTQ plus individuals who are artists, innovators, leaders, icons, and pioneers in different fields. Noteworthy to the Florida LGBTQ plus community is the selection of Nadine Smith, the Executive Director of Equality Florida, the state's largest organization dedicated to ending discrimination based on sexual orientation and gender identity. Nadine came to national prominence as she was one of the 4 national co-chairs of the historic 1993 National March on Washington. Nadine represents our nonprofit 501c3 educational mission here at the Happening Out Television Network and Queer News Tonight, as she is a former award-winning journalist. She has written syndicated columns for various gay and mainstream publications, and Smith was an award-winning investigative journalist for WUSF, the National Public Radio affiliate in Tampa, and later became a reporter for the Tampa Tribune. In 1993, Smith was part of the historic Oval Office meeting between then incumbent President of the United States, Bill Clinton, and LGBT social movement leaders. Smith attended the U.S. Air Force Academy after graduating high school in Panama City. She left after the passage of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 1993. In 1997, she helped form Equality Florida, an LGBTQ plus civil rights organization that would literally be the model to the nation and become one of the largest queer advocacy organizations in the world. In 2007, Smith was arrested at a Largo City Council meeting after handing someone a flyer that had the words, "Don't discriminate," printed on it. The council was debating whether or not to fire Susan Stanton. The city manager had transitioned from male to female. The charges were later dropped, and the police chief and the city commission issued official apologies. In 2010, Smith brought Florida's anti-gay adoption law that bans any gay person from adopting to the attention of President Obama. During a White House event, she presented the president with a picture of 2 boys the state of Florida was trying to block from being adopted by the gay man who had been their foster father for more than 5 years. And of course, this year, Time magazine takes special note of the international fight Florida has faced with Governor Ron DeSantis and the conservative members of the GOP over Don't Say Gay bills and more. Nadine Smith has been front and center in this fight and a literal voice from Florida to the entire world.
Nadine Smith was among 8 LGBTQ plus representatives awarded the impressive Time 100. LGBTQ plus Time 100 recipient Emmett Schelling is another. This transgender activist is executive director of Transgender Education Network of Texas. Schelling, like Nadine Smith, is at the heart of fighting and protecting rights of the transgender, especially young transgender people and their families in transphobic Texas.
The next recipient we have for the LGBTQ plus Time 100, Apple CEO Tim Cook. When Cook took over for the company's former CEO, Steve Jobs, in 2011, many wondered how Time would judge the LGBTQ plus business leader. Results speak for themselves, as under his leadership, Apple becomes the world's first $1 trillion company in the U.S. He has also been at the forefront of business advocacy for the LGBTQ plus issues of importance.
LGBTQ plus Time 100 recipient is Michael R. Jackson. This Pulitzer Prize-winning playwright is a Broadway powerhouse, now cemented by the stage musical A Strange Loop. His musical just snagged 11 2022 Tony Award nominations, including the first ever for a transgender actress.
LGBTQ plus Time 100 recipient Megan Repano, the GOAT of women's soccer, has won every major competition and award for her sport. Perhaps even more notable, Repano has been central to the near decade-long fight over gender inequality in sports and was at the heart of this month's historic agreement of equal pay for the men's and women's national soccer teams.
LGBTQ+ Time 100 recipient Ariana DeBose. This queer-identified musical theater actor impressed film audiences in Steven Spielberg's adaptation of West Side Story. Her role earned her the Oscar, and her acceptance speech specifically challenged why out queer identity was so important in the world we are living.
LGBTQ+ Time 100 recipient Demna Zavalia. This fashion designer and creative director of the high-end fashion brand Balenciaga. The gay Eastern European has advocated for LGBTQ+ rights and is central to subverting the high fashion status quo in all of our lives.
LGBTQ+ Time 100 recipient Kirsten Sinema. While Sinema rarely mentions her bisexuality ever since becoming a U.S. Senator from Arizona, she aggravates the LGBTQ+ community, becoming notorious for helping sabotage Democratic President Joe Biden's progressive agenda. Her approval rating is higher among state Republicans than Democrats, and she is up for re-election in 2024. We congratulate all of the LGBTQ+ representatives that made Times 100. But we thought we would take one more moment to show you the incredible history of Florida's recipient in her own, I'll even say, historic words.
Nadine Smith said, quote, "They don't ask, we don't tell, and rarely are they required to see with their own eyes the deep harm and real pain inflicted by laws that tell us we are less than our neighbors," end quote.
Nadine Smith said, quote, "George W. Bush and Al Gore shouldn't be talking about who's going to blink first. They should be talking about how we are going to restore faith and democracy in the American people, because it's been sorely tested right now," end quote.
Nadine Smith says, quote, "When fair-minded Floridians come to understand just how harmful this initiative is to so many Florida families, they will reject this amendment. Laws should not make it harder to take care of the people you love," end quote.
Nadine Smith said, quote, "As a child, I was told that Rosa Parks was tired and fed up one fateful day and decided right then and there that she would not give up her seat. I was impressed by her courage. Later, when I learned that her protest had been contemplated at length with the consequences fully measured, I was inspired even more deeply by her willingness to intentionally sacrifice her freedom and safety to make the country confront the ugliness of Jim Crow," end quote.
And Nadine Smith said, very appropriate for today, quote, "We march, we lobby, we educate, we protest, and we should and we must. But it seems increasingly clear to me that we must now do what civil rights movements have always done, with forethought and to place ourselves visibly at odds with an unjust law to provoke the consequences that can prick the conscience of our country. Every civil rights struggle in this country has required people to sacrifice and make institutionalized discrimination so visible no one can avert their eyes. People stepped forward knowing they could lose their homes, lose their jobs, their safety. They walked willingly toward hateful mobs and police. They sacrificed, and the country watched and changed. Every civil rights struggle in this country has required people to sacrifice. The country is watching. Are we ready to do the same?" Time 100.
Yes, which is impressive. And Nadine Smith, I think everyone here has met her, is just a remarkable woman that has led a way and is just says something for all of us to look up to. The things that she's accomplished in her life is definitely a trailblazer.
And how incredible to have Florida, especially at this difficult time, represented on this list. Someone from Florida and our situation, I think, is very powerful as well.
She is omnipresent in our community. I mean, and conflating her with Equality Florida, they are just everywhere trying to put out every single fire while also still keeping their eyes on the big picture. She constantly is working to find new roads and new paths forward in the face of political intransigence. And it's to be admired, and I admire her and I love her.
It's amazing, and I love how just the backgrounds of every single one of the LGBT individuals, even Kristen Cinema, is so diverse, and the fact that, except for her, they have used their platforms to actually uplift the community. Sometimes you have folks who, they have the platform, but they don't say anything to uplift their community. So brava, and I am honestly so proud that I even had the time to just meet Miss Smith like once.
You know, our press partners at Out magazine do the Out 100, and it's very, very important. It's a credentialed list, unlike any other in the LGBTQ community. But Times 100 is different. Times 100 reflects, regardless of your orientation, your race, your religion, your creed. Here are the 100, in Time Magazine's opinion, of the most important movers and shakers, principally American. For Nadine to make this list, I think is just a dramatic statement from Time Magazine. And the reason it's a dramatic statement is, for all intents and purposes so far in 2022, we lost the battle in Florida. We did. It's not like gay marriage. It's not like adoption. We lost, don't say gay. We lost to a Ron DeSantis and a conservative political structure in Florida. And Time Magazine says, but still, this person in leading the opposition, even in potential loss, is incredibly important to America. And I think that is fantastic. And it just means we're going to fight another day. And I'm sure that's what Nadine Smith in Equality Florida is going to do. This fight is not over, which is what Time Magazine is saying. And then broadly also, I just want to make special note that having the Time 100 have 8 LGBT on this list, this is not a fad embracement of endorsement. The most popular performer in America. DuBose makes this list not only because of what she did with West Side Story and what's happening with her career, but she brought everybody to a stop at the Oscars. Everybody, after the slap heard around the world, still she was, and America was talking about her acceptance speech and why her coming out and being so visible was important, and that's why Time recognizes. So these 8 individuals for Time, incredibly important for our community, and we're very proud of the number included, but we're especially proud of Florida's Nadine Smith. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the